Hey, boys and girls, Squee913 here. And you're going to have to bear with me on this. I'm probably going to be fumbling quite a bit because this idea that I have is not fully formed. I'm just getting it out there to see what people think of it. Um, Now that my Let's Play hobby is starting to grow and I'm starting to get more viewers, I'm going to lay out for you guys an idea for a very ambitious Let's Play that I've had for a very long time that I think would be a lot of fun. I got the idea from Verax's. He has an interactive Let's Play Morrowind. And basically, the idea is people give him suggestions on what he should do next, and then he does what they suggested. Now, I think this could be taken to the next level with a game like Medieval Total War 2. If you don't know what that game is, basically it's kind of a cross between an RTS game and a nation building game like Civilization, where basically you pick a country from the medieval times, obviously, and you try to build your nation by combating your neighbors and marrying off your daughters, unless you're a Muslim country, and pleasing the Pope if you're Catholic, and all that good junk. Um, it's a real fun game. I really enjoy playing it, and here's my idea uh, an interactive Let's Play Medieval Total War. Not quite like the Morrowind, not just where people give ideas and I do them, because that game is a little too complicated just to have everyone spitball ideas. I wouldn't know who to follow. And I wouldn't know how to follow one person's advice without making someone else feel like I ignored them. So here's the idea. Here's what I would do. Uh, Basically, I would put a call out for people who are interested and know the game, or at least familiar enough with the game to do this. And basically, I would have advisors, 4 or 5 people that are in charge of different aspects. Like, for example, you have an advisor of architecture who decides what buildings each city builds. You know, farms or, barracks or ports for trade, those kind of things. He would look at every city and say, okay, this is what we need here. You could have an advisor of the military, of course, which would decide what kind of military to build. Do we need cavalry? Do we need swordsmen? Do we need archers? What cities to build them in, and where to position them once the armies are raised. In other words, what borders need better protection? How much of the army should be roving around? How much of it should be stationed in a garrison? Make up contingencies, like if this country attacks us, this is how we respond to them. That kind of thing. You have an agent of, an advisor of agents, which is they control the spies, the diplomats, the assassins. Like, say, hey, we want to make peace with this country, we'll send a diplomat there, or hey, let's send spies over here and spy on this country and gather information. Of course, you would have an advisor of the money, which pretty much everyone would have to answer to him, because he would be the one that decides who gets how much of the funds that we have. Like, oh, you want to build a church? Well, we don't have enough money. You'll have to build it next turn. Or, sure, you can build 7 archers, but you don't have enough for that cavalry this turn. Or, things like that. So basically, the idea would be to get a good 4 or 5 people, maybe more, God forbid, if people actually wanted, that many people wanted to participate, who you don't have to be an expert at the game, just know it enough to be able to make those kind of decisions. And then what they would do is, I would set aside a day where this day is the day I'm going to do the Let's Play. And the week leading up to that day, once a week, and the week leading up to that day, we would all communicate through PMs or comments or things like that and decide what they want to do. And then they would submit, like, okay, the architecture, this is what I want you to build. The army, this is what I want you to make. And then I, as the king, would enact all of those policies that they told me to do. And basically, once a week, I would do, I don't know, maybe 5 turns or so. I'd have to kind of fiddle with it to see what's a good, not too short, but not so long that things change and we can't adapt. And of course, my responsibility would also be battlefield tactics. There would be an advisor to make the army and tell me how to use it. But once we get on the battlefield, obviously, I would have to be the one in charge of actually winning the battle, unless they're standing right next to me. They can't really tell me, oh, hey, go flank these guys or they'll kill us. So that's my idea, and I'm wanting to know if anyone's interested, of course. And I know this could be a very long time, if ever, if it comes to fruition, because I would need people who are willing to make that sort of commitment to play in the game. But I think it would be not only really fun to Let's Play and for the participants, but I think it'd be really fun for the viewers, too, to see what we collectively put together. And of course, they would have to work together with each other. Whoever's building the army needs certain buildings in order to make that army, so they'd have to be able to communicate with each other and things like that. And I think that that interplay would be really interesting for people to see. And as king, I guess I would have the ability to overrule everyone, but I wouldn't ever plan on using that, because what was the point of doing this if I just overrule what everyone says? The only way I could see that happening is if A, someone decides that they just don't care anymore and make really pointless decisions, or if for some reason circumstances change so much that what was advised to me is no longer relevant. But other than that, I would completely adhere to what I was told to do, and I think that would make it very interesting. Now, there's one more thing to point out that would make this even more interesting, at least from my point of view, is the goals of the game. Now, normally in the game, you're supposed to basically conquer Europe, or Europe in the Mediterranean area, defeat your allies and all that, or defeat your neighbors and all that good junk. However, when I play the game, I do it a little differently because I found a really fun way of doing it. It's called Beat the Golden Horde. And if you've played Medieval Total War 2, you know what the Golden Horde is. If you don't, then basically at a certain point in the game, a massive army arrives in Eastern Europe called the Golden Horde. And they basically cut a path of destruction through Eastern Europe until they make a country of their own. And the idea of this, the goal of this Let's Play that everyone would be working towards is not the whole domination of Europe, but to basically to start off with an Eastern European country, either a Muslim country or a Byzantine Empire, of course we would choose, and to build a nation that is strong enough to stand up to the Golden Horde. And what I mean by that is that they are able to field a big enough army, or at least a strong enough army, to be able to take out the Golden Horde before they can gain a foothold, meaning before they can make a country of their own. It's difficult. I've never actually succeeded in doing it, but I've always had lots of fun doing it. And, what one mind couldn't do, perhaps six could. That's my thinking. Now, obviously, this is kind of a complicated endeavor, and I don't know if I could ever find the people who are willing to put into the effort to do it. But if I could, and if you guys are out there and interested, I think it would be a fantastic Let's Play. Now, it could be months or never before this ever happens, but I'm putting it up now to give people time to see, if anyone wants to do this. Also, another thing I could do that would make it easier is for people who own the game. It's not that hard for me to, after each week's session, just make a copy of my save game and email it to you in an attachment. That way you could pop it into your own game and fiddle around with it. Let's say you're the general and you want to see what it's like if I make an army like this or whatnot. That would be something very easy to do. Obviously not necessary, but it would be an interesting thing that we could do as well. So anyway, that's my idea for an interactive Medieval 2 Total War Let's Play. Let me know what you guys think, and definitely if you're interested in being one of those positions, let me know that you're interested. And if we can get enough people, then I would definitely like to do this. I could do it in addition to the other two, because I'd never try to do more than 2 games at once, but since I would only do maybe an hour a week, it would be no trouble at all. And then I could start this as soon as I had enough people interested in playing it. So let me know, comment me or PM me or whatever you want to do, and let me know if you guys are interested in this, all right? All right, take care.